Oh, there we go.
Wait, there we go.
Where are you off to right now? What are you doing?
I just dropped off my youngest at the barn because she rides every day.
Mm.
And then now I take that creature. You can just see her tail. There she is. And then she goes to the dog park. That mean the kids that ride usually ride, 4 to 6 days a week, give or take. Yeah, she competes like in the summer at in Caledon and Angelstone and all those places. So,
oh wow,
it's her thing, I guess you could say.
And you're not like horsey people. You don't come from a horsey background.
Well, my wife, funny enough, always rode and owned horses, but like equestrian, hunter jumper, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't at all.
Which is hilarious because you make your living in horse racing. Have you ever owned any horses?
I have, except for jumpers, no.
Have you ever been, have you ever thought about, I'm sure you've been propositioned before in the photo booth. I'm sure at least once in 25 years, someone has said, yeah.
People have mentioned it, but it's just not my thing. And I've never been in the position where I've had an extra 10 or 20 or $15,000 just for a couple in my pocket. So I should do it one day though, because as you know, as much as I do, the excitement that people have watching their horse is second to none.
Yeah. I'm surprised that hasn't like seeped onto you and infected your brain.
You would think it would, but I mean, it's enough that we have to buy my daughter's horse. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so let's talk quickly about how you came into the industry. You've been here for, is this your 25th year?
This is my 25th year, believe it or not. So I never ever could have dreamed of that, but it's been 25 great years, so I've got absolutely no complaints.
So you came into this industry as a photographer, not as a horse person.
Correct.
And it was through the London Free Press, is that correct?
Yeah, so after I went to university, and the degree is only so useful that you get when you get a degree in history. So after that, I went and I was doing photography throughout. I did some fine art stuff when I was at York. And so right after that, I went to Loyalist College because they have a photojournalism program, because that was my thing, I guess, photojournalism. And my placement was at the London Free Press. So that's how I got to London, and which is where I met my wife, Stephanie, in London.
Okay.
And then from there, I met Dave Briggs, who wasn't in the horse business either at that point. He was doing an internship at the Free Press also. And he went to the Sportsman, of course, and he found out that the person who was doing Mohawk at that time, Mohawk and Woodbine Standardbreds, was looking to sell his business, in essence.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought it from him. That was that.
Wow. The harness racing industry in Ontario definitely owes a debt of gratitude to the London Free Press, because it gave us not only Dave Briggs, but also one of our most prolific track photographers as well.
Oh, yeah.
So we tip our hat to the London Free Press.
That's right. Back in the day when the London Free Press was, a big deal, obviously, back then. And newspapers in general were a huge deal.
Yeah. A lot has changed, as you know.
It really has. And because I remember when I was at the Free Press and they were just starting to have film scanners. So you still have to shoot film and you had to scan it after. And the computers couldn't even handle the scanned images because they were so slow back then. So
Do you remember the last time you shot film?
I vaguely do, because it was 01, and that day the new Canon D30 came out, and I picked it up at Henry's, and I never shot film again after that.
Wow.
So that day I drove to the track, and I was so excited, as you can imagine. And I don't even think we had a printer yet. I think that was, a day or two away. And then we, never ever shot film again, kept the film cameras as backups, never used them as backups even, and then slowly got rid of them.
Wow, crazy.
When I bought the business, we were still printing color pictures, obviously.
Yeah.
And no one could have said to me that. I think we bought it in 90, got it in 97, and in 01 we were digital. If you had said, and one of the biggest problems then was that printing color photos was so expensive and so time consuming and so equipment consuming that it was a huge hit. It's like almost wasn't worth it. So if you had said, 4 years from now, you won't shoot any more film, no one would have believed you.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Pretty amazing.
So did you have to invest did you have your own color photo printer? I mean, like analog, like the actual, like,
no,
I don't even know what you call them anymore. Like the actual, yeah. How did you print your?
So I don't know what people know about color printing, but unlike, everyone knows or has an idea of black and white printing where you can go in a dark room and you've got trays and you put the paper in, you see it in movies always.
Yeah.
And that person picks it up and looks at it and finds the killer there or something. Black and white color printing is a pain in the ass. Chemicals go bad. It's more chemicals. They're more expensive. Your equipment has to be spotless or it leaves marks behind. Mm-hmm. It's a whole different process. So from the beginning, we contracted our printing out to a local lab. And every night we used to drop off film at the lab, and every morning we used to pick it up.
Wow.
And go to the track and do the photos. So we did it that way. And the funny and bad story is the day we stopped doing color printing, we stopped using this lab. And about 6 months later, they went out of business.
Oh,
so I felt terrible. We, a big client of theirs, kind of thing. So,
the lab killer, Clive Cohen, the lab killer.
Otherwise, I saw those guys every single day.
Yeah.
Right. And all of a sudden, nothing.
Yeah. That's the way of the world. That's how she rolls.
That's exactly it.
Yep, for sure. All right. So you've been there for 25 years. That's just, that's incredible to me. You've won a multitude of awards. You most recently just won your 6th Canadian Media Award. And then you also have won 3 Smalls Reed Awards, which are the US equivalents. Yeah. And then I noticed in 2017, a Jacob Cohen won a media award. Is that your Jake? Is that your son?
My son. Yeah. So who would have guessed? So the back then I had to go to an overnight tournament with one of my other kids, hockey tournament. Mm-hmm. And we were in Niagara and he was shooting for me that night at Woodbine.
Okay.
And he called me very excited and sent me the picture quickly of the sun setting behind the Woodbine barn kind of thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I said, wow, that's amazing. And we submitted that photo for him because we published it on Facebook, Instagram, something. I don't know what it was. And he won. So it was funny because I got a call from Ken down in the States, Ken Weingartner. And Ken's like, I'm not calling you for you. I'm calling you because your son won. So that was great, actually. It's better than me winning would be him winning. So
that's great. And how old would Jacob have been at the time?
That was 20. He would have been 17.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. That was 2017.
Yeah, 2017. Yes, 2017. Yeah.
Yeah, so he would have been 17.
Yeah. So does he have the photography bug? Is that something he wants to pursue, or is it just a hobby for him right now?
He loves it, and he would join me in a second. Mm-hmm. And he sees that, my work is not really work, let's face it. So what kid doesn't want to do that, right? So, I mean, he sees me enjoying myself, going to work, like it's what is there not to like about it? So,
don't sell yourself short. It is a lot of work, and it's a commitment. I mean, you have the same commitment as the rest of the racing industry, right? You have to be there 4 to 5 times a week. Yeah.
So from his perspective, it's just, bubblegum and ice cream. So he would love to do that in a second, I think.
Do you have a particular moment from your 25 years that stands out as just an incredible moment for you? It's maybe not necessarily a racing moment. It's not necessarily someone else's moment. It might just be a 10,000 claiming race that for some reason stands out for you.
There's probably no single moment. Probably the moments in general that I enjoy is when there's new faces in the winner's circle, and whether it's a new caretaker, driver, owner, trainer, it doesn't really matter, but they're always so excited if it's their first. And even if they've won a bunch of races, everywhere else, when they win their first Woodbine or Mohawk win, I guess it's all Mohawk now, when they win their first big win, they're beside themselves. And even people come in who have been in the industry for 25 years, and this is their first, Mohawk win in the pop-up series or something. And it's huge. They're literally beside themselves. They're buying big pictures off the wall. They're doing everything they can to remember this moment. They're getting one for their brother and their uncle and their sister. Yeah. And also their phone is lighting up. You see them in my office and they're getting texts and messages and everyone's calling them that's ever known them. And it's wonderful to be part of that. So that probably, which happens actually a lot more recently. It seems to be a lot more new blood in the industry right now. And that never gets old.
That's cool. That's a big responsibility too. I mean, you're responsible for really documenting all of the milestones at, one of the largest tracks in North America. That is a big responsibility.
I guess it is. Yeah. And I mean, the flip side of that is when that person comes in, and this doesn't happen very often, and I have to say to them, "Oh, there's no picture."
Okay. Okay. So, right.
The look on their face. The blood is drained from their face. They're like, what do you mean there's no picture? And even if just the race picture isn't that great, which again doesn't happen very often, or the winner's circle picture for whatever reason didn't turn out, it's like you can't get your first win back, right? It's just gone.
Right.
So when once in a while when I'm not working a shift in someone else's, my little speech to them is, you can't screw up even one picture a night because that's like 10% of all the photos gone. And that's too high of a ratio. No business can survive not doing 10% of their job.
Right.
So, luckily with equipment and everything else, we get most photos and most people are pretty damn happy.
Right. Okay. Well, you know what? That leads nicely into our next segment, which is truth or trivia.
Okay.
Which you have the opportunity, Clive, to either select a trivia question that I've prepared for you, or you can tell me the truth to a question. You're a pretty sharp guy. You can probably figure out what I have planned.
I feel like we should have shot classes here.
If you insist.
Yeah. Well, you see me in the car.
Yeah, it's true.
So with truth, of course, because
okay.
I know much trivia.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So what I want to know is exactly what you touched on. We all have blunders, no matter our job. I know from my days as a former track photographer,
that's right.
Have many, many blunders that haunt me at night. Give us one of your blunders or an instance where some like quick thinking saved you from a major blunder.
Well, I'll tell you the blunder. The first race, I remember the first race I did miss. So when I started, it seemed like an obvious pattern that every single night there was 10 races. So I didn't even think twice that there could be more than 10 races. And I remember the horse even. So it was a late night. It was either Friday or Saturday. I forgot which one it was, and there were 11 races on the schedule. I didn't realize it. And I looked at my office to go home and there were people in the winner's circle.
Oh.
And the horse even I remember was Armbro Nautilus. So they're great guys and great customers and everything. So I picked up my camera, ran out, shot the winner's circle, and I told them the truth. I said, I didn't know there were 11 races. What the hell? And that was the last time I did that, obviously. Yeah. I'll never forget that one. And there you go.
It happens.
It does. And once in a blue moon, for some reason, my TV signal isn't working. So I stream the racing and I don't realize that the signal froze.
Yeah.
And then I hear them coming down the stretch. I hear Kenny upstairs, they're coming down the stretch. And I'm still in my office typing or without my jacket on in the winter and that kind of stuff. And once in a blue moon, I've had to shoot just from basically right outside the glass doors at Mohawk.
Right.
and hope there's no one standing in the way between me and the finish line kind of thing.
Right, right.
But it all worked. Those are
rare occasions. It happens.
Yes, you know, it gets your pulse going, and it makes it exciting.
I guess so. Yeah. All right. Well, so thanks for joining us, Clive, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.